WF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out bright future, we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions, fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when Eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Yes, guys, welcome back to Eagle Eyed Football and welcome back to another stream from Eagle Eyed Football. This ain't a normal stream. This is a slightly different one. Today, we'll be looking at and ranking our squad and how we think they've done so far this season. So this is going to be similar to player ratings, similar to our mid-season review that we've done. But we're sort of about, 3/4 of the way through now. Only 8 games left after this. So, we're pretty much at the end of the season or coming up to that point anyway. So I thought, we're just going to rank how each one of our players have done this season up until this point. We're not going to do it by numbers as we have done in the player ratings. We'll be doing it slightly different. So we've got it in a tier list, obviously. So the top tier is obviously going to be player of the season or players of the season. So if we've got standouts, they'll be at the top. They've had a great season. They've had an average season, they've had a poor season, or the last one is not enough game time to judge. So that'll be a prime example. That will probably be Ben Chilwell. He's just come in. He hasn't really had enough time to settle himself or to show if he's good or not. We're just going to try and make it as simple as possible. What we're going to do is me and Rich are going to go through it all. Obviously, we're going to go off our own opinions, go off vibes, go off of some stats if we look it up. But then at the end, we'll go into the chat and we will only stop this stream until everyone is happy in the chat. Not everyone, because then we'll be here forever, but we will be doing it, we'll make a good tier list. And then after this, we will download it. We will put it out on Twitter. And also, I've made this a public tier list. So everyone in Palace Twitter can go and make their own tier list as well. So I think that's going to be a little bit of, people can go and do their own one and tweet it at us and, everyone can have their own opinions. But that is the longest intro I've ever done to a stream, 2.5 minutes. Rich, how are you doing?
I'm good, to be honest. I'm glad you did a very long intro because I think my I froze for a bit anyway. So if you'd asked how I was doing, I was just like this. So yeah, but I'm doing good. I am doing good, and I'm looking forward to this because I think it's going to bring about loads of different opinions. I know there's definitely one player that's going to bring a little bit of division. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. So we're looking forward to it.
Let's go into the comments. Big up Damo, big up Dog. How are you? I'm all right, I'm doing okay. I thought that this week was the international break, but it's not. But oh well, it is what it is. Big up Zara. No idea who that is. I feel like that's someone's burner. Big up the UK Pat. So big up.
But what if it's someone legit though? You just dismissed it very quick.
I mean, I'll put it this way: I've never met someone called Zara in my life. So
to be fair, they've called you by full government, and they only addressed you.
Yeah, it's a burner. Big up UK Pat says big up me muscles and the goat. So I guess you're his muscles now, mate. Rihanna's not happy. She's she's got a phone like, who's this? Who's this?
No.
Who's this? You should do polls for every player. We tried that. I think in the last one that we did, and Dan called me the poll master, so we ain't ever doing that again. So we're just going off of the chat. UK Pat's bigging up Ree is bigging up everyone else. UK Pat says Zara is Nikki's favorite crystal. I mean, streets are saying that Nikki was meant to be here right now. However, he's not here yet. Clarifying, it's Mr. And Nikki is his hubby. Her hubby.
Oh, oh, okay. Welcome, Zara.
Big
Welcome.
up Zara. That ain't no burner. She loves Nikki.
Absolutely.
But yeah, let's show the tier list on the screen. So this is probably going to be what the screen's going to look like for most of this stream. But let's get straight into it. So as I said before, player of the season. So players, whoever's had the best season, standout for you, amazing. Great season, average season, poor season, not enough game time to judge. To try and make it as fair as possible, so no one's really rated poor, even though they haven't had many games at all. First one, and I think we're starting off very strong here. Dean Henderson. I'm putting him straight in the top.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm just trying to think. There's 3 players that I'm thinking of for pot.
I'm putting him straight in the top.
Or is there 4? Yeah, I agree with Henderson. He's been brilliant.
So yeah, I'm putting him straight in the top because he has been outstanding for us. And also the fact that I think when me and Dan were actually looking into actually how he's been playing and his stats, I'm sure he's outsaving his XG by +5, which for a goalkeeper is outstanding. He's got the second most clean sheets out of everyone in the Premier League. Granted, you've got to big up the back line for that kind of stat as well, but still, keeping the ball out of the net is the main thing. And also on SofaScore, for a goalkeeper to have a 7 exactly as his average rating throughout the whole season is outstanding, because other goalkeepers, they don't hit those kind of heights. Let me just who's also played well in goal this year, just off the top of your head?
Matt Sells, I think, has been probably one of the best keepers out there. Nottingham Forest, and then also I'll say Alisson, but that's kind of what we expect from Alisson, to be fair.
Yeah. What's his name? Matt Sells.
I believe so.
Matt.
I know the surname Sells. I think it's fascinating.
Sells, his average is 6.7, and Henderson's is 7. So that says a hell of a lot for how he has been playing this season. Seeing UK Pat is having a great dilemma in his own head. So he's gone from player of the season to great to average to great again, and then back up to player of the season. And he's just trolling at this point. But I'm sticking him there, and he's staying there. Rich, Matt Turner only played in the cup competitions. I don't think he did too badly, to be fair.
He hasn't. I'm gonna put average. I wouldn't say he's been poor, because wait, has he even conceded?
Yeah, against Norwich, 4-1, wasn't it? Or was it 4-0?
Yes. Wait, no, that was 4-0, I'm sure.
I actually can't remember. FB ref.
So yeah, but all in all, like, I mean, obviously there's no good, so I'm gonna have to be careful, because there's no, like, he definitely has not been great, because he's left us with like heart and mouth moments, but like he's not been poor either, So yeah, I'll say average.
So Matt Turner in the league.
Mill he conceded as well.
Yeah, in the league he hasn't actually played a game, so he's only ever played cup competitions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's been all right. Did what was asked. Obviously, some shaky moments with his feet, but as a shot stopper, not the end of the world, really.
Yeah, it's not been bad.
Remy Matthews, he had 1 appearance from an injury, so not enough time to judge. Rich, Tyreek Mitchell.
I would have put him in the good category, but there isn't one. But he hasn't been average.
Do we want to make another tier here and say good and great?
Yeah. Yeah, we can edit that, can't we? Yeah, we can make it.
I'm sure I can add one. Add a row above, and then we're gonna call this
Yeah, we'll go.
one good. We're gonna make
Yeah.
that, I don't know, like that color.
Yeah, I'll go good. I think he's had a considering like up until the moment Choro came in, he's played every minute for like the last like 10 years. I mean, obviously I'm exaggerating, but yeah, I think he's had a good season. Defensively, he's been solid. You know, obviously going forward, we know that's his limitations. So yeah, good
Yeah,
season so far.
it's one of those ones where now that we have someone like Ben Chilwell, you can really appreciate how good he is defensively. I don't know
Yeah.
if this is just something that I've seen, because like obviously I was sitting here this whole time saying Mitchell can't go forwards. He needs to get better at going forwards. We need someone that can go forwards and defend. But we really do have stark polar opposites between what we have here. And yeah, I do think that Mitchell's had a good season. I don't think he's had a great season. He has had some really poor moments, I would say, but I don't think he's had a poor season. But you know, still, if you look at it like this, he's still playing out of position technically. So I think overall he's having a pretty all right season. So good season, getting some agreement here from Pat.
Agreement. He's spamming the comments again.
Chill.
Who's got your phone?
She's saying this is Marge. Ben Chilwell, I think that he will, if he plays consistent games, I think if we do this again at the end of the season, I do think that he'll rise up to the good, maybe great category, because I do think that he's a really good player. But right now,
I know he hasn't had many games, but of the games you've seen him, where would you put him currently? I know it's only like 3 or 4 games.
I mean, if he's played this way for, I don't know, let's say 10 games, I would put him next to Mitchell there if he's had the same performances. But I think because he's literally hasn't played enough, he has to go into this category no matter what.
That's fair.
Mark Gay.
I'm going to put him great. Because there's a defender that's going to go into pots, and there's a defender who's going to go into good. But yeah, he's been solid.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm getting all of the people that have not enough time and not enough game time, because next is Chadi Riyad. Once again, not enough game time. And you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with him. I just think that he off tangent, I will say this, off tangent, he is a player that has never gotten an injury. In the Barcelona academy, never gotten an injury. Gone out on loan, played European football on loan, never gotten an injury. Comes to Palace, does his ACL twice in 6 months. So he's done his ACL, now he's done his MCL. What the hell? Probably I said this to Dan on Tactical. The only player in the last 5 or 6 years that we've made a proactive signing for, this is what happens. Typical Palace, honestly. Typical Palace. But I'll do what Rich says. I will take the next player straight into player of the season. If we're doing it on merit as well, it will go this way around. I think
let's do merits as well. Yeah,
I think that Maxence Lacroix has been one of the biggest revelations of a signing we've ever had. Tell me another player that signed for us and has this quickly become a fan favorite, a standout in the squad, and also someone that other teams in the Premier League are saying, how the hell did we get this? Did players get this guy for £14 million? Because he has everything. He's got pace, he's got power, he's incredible when one-on-one defending. His recovery, like I know I've said pace already, but the recovery pace to making a last-ditch challenge, outrageous. He's strong, he's tall, he's a physical presence as well. Like, yes, he struggled against a lap, but pretty much every other striker in the Premier League has struggled with, facing up against him, really. And he has to be player of the season. And also the fact that he's really involved with the fans. Like, I still struggle to believe that the fans at Wolfsburg really didn't like him because of his attitude. But I think his attitude is probably one of his best attributes, if I'm really honest. He's loving it with the fans. He loves getting stuck in. Is that just a cultural thing where German football, they're not really like all this passion, but in English football, you do? Who cares? I think he's brilliant. He has to go into player of the season. And
and on that
probably an
note,
early shout, he is probably the player of the season for me at the moment.
yeah. On that note, if you look at his leadership, which obviously you mentioned, there was a few times I noticed where he would run over to players just to pick their head up if something had gone wrong, if it's a missed chance or a defensive error or a mistake, whatever it is. He's always geeing up the players, always geeing up. Like, he's such captain to the point where, look, we're expecting Mark to leave at the end of the season.
Give
I
him the
know
armband
there's some
next
other
year.
players. I know there's other players that have been there longer. Give him the armband. Give him the armband.
100%. And also, you might have to just to keep him for another year. Like that could be a factor about it as well, because we did it for
Yeah.
Wilf, gave him the armband for a little while to keep him. Like, if you can keep Wharton, give him the bloody armband. I don't care. Like,
Absolutely. So yeah, spot on for
Chris
Pops.
Richards.
He's going to go into the good category.
Even after his upturn in form.
Yeah, because there was the pre-Chalobah version, which was making mistakes, especially because at that right centre back position, he struggled initially.
Actually, let me put him in.
Yeah, yeah. Prior to what you call it, obviously Chalobah joining the club and leaving the club, that he did struggle at right centre back. He's now made that position his, which is absolute credit to him. And he's played well. I think the only noticeable game since he's had regular games, I think, was a Chelsea game, and that was just because Sancho turned it. But apart from that, the rest of the game, he played well. Recovery challenges, he puts in a lot of blocks, which don't really get noticed. His recovery runs are good. His tackling in general is good. Like, he rarely missed times of challenge. I think his next thing will actually no, and he's come up with, like, he's got 2 assists. He has 2 assists. So his all-round game, he's become so pivotal to us, that I can see Wharton always likes to try and clip the ball to Richards when we're playing, like, second phase of play and stuff like that. So yeah, I think he's been good.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, you just reminded me about him, but Trevor Chalobah, I think I put him in good as well. And the only reason why I have put him in good instead of average is purely because he got 3 goals in very quick succession, and he was actually our second top goal scorer at one point.
Yeah.
He was flying when it came to scoring goals and this and that. But I would say that he did have clanger in him every single game. No matter what, there was one mistake that he made in a game where it could have and it probably should have led to a goal every single time. But what you had with Richards now, where you've got that defensive rigidity, you have, like, really good defending attributes. You sort of had that with Chalobah. What you gained is you gained that one reverse pass that probed into the midfield very, with a lot of force as well, like it was like a ping pass. And also one thing you lose from not having Chalobah, you lose that underlap. He was so good at picking up the ball and taking a few touches and dribbling forwards and taking the ball out of the back line. And when he would do that, he would pass the ball off, and then later on, he crashed the box. And, like, he scored one time from doing that. Yes, he scored 2 goals from corners, but he scored one just by building up the play and scoring a header on the other end. So I do think he had really good attributes, but the reason why he's looking like not so good at Chelsea now is because they've gone back to a back 2 where he can't really utilize those skills, and he sort of known more for his actual defending, which is probably his worst attribute as a centre back. So, I feel for him. He's in a bit of a bad situation. And also, he really didn't want to go. He was really loving it with the fans. And, I think the fans loved him as well. Even though he made his mistakes, everyone's like, all right, that's fine. But you're still trying to go forward. You're still progressing the ball. And Palace fans, we like that. So I put him in a good category.
Question. Let's just say Mark goes. Would you then be happy with the
No.
back three going to the next season of Richards, Chalobah,
No.
and Lacroix?
No.
Okay, cool. Because I was thinking we need to sign someone like Pavlovic.
I think Pavlovic is good. I think if you're gonna sign someone to replace Mark, it has to be Mosquera, in my opinion. I'm set on Christian Mosquera from Valencia. He hasn't had the best of seasons this year, but last few years outstanding. And to be fair, Pavlovic isn't a bad shout. I think we were linked with Pershers a few years ago. Not a bad shout. So
yeah. I think Glasner, he's looking for like man mountains. Like everyone has to be like 6 foot plus. Absolute units.
To be fair, do you blame him? We've got it now and it works. So why would you want to change it?
Yeah.
Joe Ward, not enough time.
Not enough time.
I don't think. Munoz, I'm putting him in great.
Yeah.
He has had a few dodgy games, I would say. Prime example, last game. Don't think he had the best of games. But just being that good and having that engine on that right-hand side, he's pivotal to how we play. I would say that losing him is a bigger loss than losing Adam Wharton in our team. That's how good I think that Daniel Munoz is and how critical he is to our playing style. He's outstanding. And also he brings in goals. He brings in assists. He brings in everything that we need. What was it? 5 goals, 5 assists this year in all comps as a wing back. That's incredible. And also to be linked with all these massive teams. He's so vital to us that, I mean, the more I talk, the more I think, does he go and play of the season? No, I think I'll leave him there. Because I think that Henderson
the other
and
two,
Lacroix are just a little bit further ahead.
Yeah. And the other two that are going to join the pot, in my personal opinion, are just clear. This could change if he gets a couple more goals. But I think great. It's fair. But I would put him ahead of Mark.
Okay, I'd agree with that. Also, are we happy with the merit in the good category as well? Mitchell, Richards, and Chalobah.
Yeah, I think that's fair because Mitchell, I think, has been a bit more consistent.
Yeah, and also has a bit more game time than both of the others combined.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Klein and Caleb Kapora, I think they both go into not enough game time, don't they?
Not enough game time, yeah.
And then again, I think so does Czech.
Yeah.
Rich, Adam Wharton.
Oh. You know what's mad? He hasn't had much game time either, or great. In a sense, what I mean by that is when he started the season, he was unfit. So when I say he hasn't had much game time, like when he's been fully fit,
but he still had game time.
He's still been great. He's just unbelievable. Such a good player. Now, where I rank him in this is difficult. I don't think he's been better. Or has he been better than Munoz? No, I don't think he's been better than Munoz. And I'm just saying it based on like injuries and stuff like that.
I'm not. For me personally,
has he been better than Mark?
For me personally, I think the fact that he was playing injured for a lot of the time, but if we're ranking him by just time on the pitch, yes, when he's come back now and he's fully fit, he's been outstanding. But most of the season, he hasn't been like that. He's been good. Don't get me wrong. He has been good. If it was me, I'd put him top of good.
Yeah.
I'd put him top of good.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of similar to Richards in the sense of it. Yeah, I think it's fair.
Because recency bias, tells me he
Yeah,
goes
he's
there.
great. Yeah.
But if you
Yeah,
take
when
out
I
the
look back at the
recency
start of the
bias and you
season,
say the whole
he started off
season,
slow.
yeah,
That's fair.
100%. Next up is Will Hughes. And he's definitely had a great season. Was his season greater than Mark's?
Wow, I'm thinking Potts. He's one of my 4 player of the season candidate.
Mm.
What Glasner has done to this player? Remember, he carried us. He
I'm
absolutely
not.
carried us
The
when
thing
we
is,
weren't playing well.
I am not denying that one bit. I'm not denying what Glasner's done to him one bit, but I don't think it's right to have 4 players in player of the season. I'm saying he's top of great.
And I would switch him with Henderson then. If you're because where's Mateta going?
He's going up there as well.
Which one, Great or Potts?
Potts.
This is harsh on that. No, Hughes has to be up there. I would switch Henderson then. If you're only going to have 3, switch Hughes and Henderson. As it stands, Hughes is still my player of the season, unless Mateta gets 20 goals.
I hear that.
This guy has literally
but
carried
now
us.
I'm thinking I'm doing Henderson dirty because he's been so good as well.
That's why I said have the 4. Those were the only 4 in my head for player of the season. Just those 4. Nobody else.
Okay, let's do that then. Does he go in front of Lacroix?
I'm going to say yes. And hear me out. When you've got no Wharton, you've had to play with Wharton, Lerma, Devaney, Kamada, like check at one stage. Like he's had to play with everybody else, and he's been that stable, and his performances have been excellent. I would say I think he's top of that list.
Put in the chat because I would still say I do agree that Will Hughes has been the workhorse of our midfield this whole season. But I do think that Lacroix is one of the main reasons why we are so good away from home. Just the fact that he himself can marshal that back line. He can get the best out of absolutely everyone defensively. It's a tough one. Well, right now I have control, but if the chat tells me otherwise, and I'm not listening to Nicky because he's talking in the chat and he's not in here. So TCD is saying player of the season, Max. Buddha Boy is saying 4, even 5 player of the season. So I'm guessing he wants Hughesy in there. I said I'm not looking at what's Nicky saying. I'll leave that. I'll let that one cook. Rich, I'll give you Jefferson Lerma.
That's good. He had been crucial for us in some aspects, but my gosh, his passing is terrible.
Where in the good does
And
he
yeah,
go?
right at the bottom of good. And there'll probably be other players that will be in good above him as well. So, yeah, he can't pass, but what he does defensively, I think we've overlooked because of how bad he is passing. Interceptions, headers from like set pieces, like and clearing up like on the edge of the box. He's actually done that really well this season. So yeah, no more than good.
Mm-hmm. Justin Devaney. You know what? I think that him coming out of the youth team, having his first ever men's appearance being, like his first ever appearance being a start in the Premier League, And that's because we had both Wharton and Lerma injured, and he had to play in midfield with Will Hughes. I'm putting him good because no one expected him to come in, be as good as he was, which was a good shock, and also the fact that Glasner trusts him so much to, utilize him as a sub instead of some seasoned professionals. I'm not naming names, but I do think that it's very interesting, and it's something really good to see that he's come straight from the academy. And I wouldn't say he's come into the team like a duck to water, but he has made that transition from youth football into the Premier League seem not that significant of a jump.
Make one change to that though.
Yeah.
Would you put him ahead of Lerma? Because I think he
No.
deserves that credit. Like
don't-
he has actually. What?
I don't think I
You
would.
don't think so?
No. Because I do
Why
think.
not? Let's hear this.
So, with Lerma, the case study is a lot bigger than Justin Devaney, I would say. So, with Devaney, he hasn't had as many appearances as Lerma has done. Also, the fact that Lerma, even though we want to say his passing has been dreadful, but we can pick out points of his game that we say are unrivaled. His defensive ability, the ability to break up play, the amount of energy he can bring into our midfield. Like when we had Wharton and Hughes got tired, and then we brought on Lerma just to bring that bit of energy back into the midfield. He's changed the game for us a few times this season, and some people want to forget that. So I do think that because the case study is bigger, and he has actually made some big changes in how we play when he's come on the pitch, when he's come off the pitch, and his defensive attributes, his physical attributes as well. Like, even though his long throw is rubbish, it's still something different that he offers us as a team. So I would put him ahead of Justin Devaney.
Argument for Justin then. Obviously a youth product. Well, I bought him. We've obviously signed him, and he's a young player. But when he's come onto the pitch, he's brought about some sort of assurance and just a bit of care. I think the only game where he found it difficult when he was chucked into midfield against Fulham, and it was him with Mark, like two obviously inexperienced players in the middle of the park. But he comes on and he keeps the ball well. His game IQ is very good. So I guess he does a similar thing to Lerma, but I guess with more control. And he's chipped in with a couple of goals as well this season. So that was my argument for Justin. But either way, he deserved to be in good.
Mm-hmm. Rich, Daichi Kamada.
I'm going to say average. I'm just trying to figure out. He'll go ahead of Turner because obviously
He's played
bigger
more.
pace. Yeah. Here's what. For an attacking output, which we expect him to be, he hasn't been good. But his defensive output, playing centre mid, and I think as time has gone on, I think the turning point was his sending off against. Who did he get sent off against? Was it Fulham or Men's?
I think it was Fulham.
It was Fulham, innit? Since that game, he's been better. He's been a lot better, and his defensive side to the game has been really good. It's just a shame because obviously I've gone back to look back at like the time at Frankfurt and how he played. Obviously, it's the Bundesliga; it's going to be different. But he just wanted the ball all the time, and he got the ball all the time, and he ran at players, and I don't think we've seen that side of him. So that's the only bit I'm disappointed in a sense of not being able to see him like running with the ball and stuff. But yeah, average.
Mm-hmm. I think, and also he hasn't really ever had a good run of games in his favourite position because he started there when Eze was injured. He got a few games, and then all of a sudden Wharton got injured, so he had to get switched into an 8. And then I think Sarr missed a few games, so he went on to the right side. And then I think basically loads of injuries. He just got popped around all over the place. So he's never really had a set position to play in this season. So it would be pretty harsh to put him in poor, I would say. But he has had enough game time to have a judgment taken on him. But I would say it probably was a little bit of a disappointment seeing, the quality that we was all expecting to come in. Europa League winner, already played in Glasgow's system. We was hoping for him to just come in and hit the ground running. That just wasn't the case,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But that isn't the case with most people that come from another league into the Premier League. It doesn't happen first
Absolutely.
season. It doesn't happen very
Yeah.
often. But I would say that counting everything, the improvement after his sending off, I think he has had a pretty average season. França,
Francis can go there, but even with Command, when he comes on from the bench, I'm not as worried anymore. Before I used to be very nervous, but now I'm like, actually, you know what? He actually keeps the ball pretty well.
he can recycle it really well. His passing's great. Mm-hmm. França, great goal the other day. Really, really good goal on the volley. But, not enough game time. I'm sure he will get the game time to have a rating by the end of the season, because I think Glasner really does like him. And I think it's really nice to see the whole team supporting him as well. Like, when he scored, like even Mateta was in the stands, like celebrating with him from afar. So it's good to see everyone supporting him. And I reckon Glasner does like him, because he even in the preseason game, he changed the game for us completely. Like, we were so rubbish before then, and then in the second half, nothing. França gets a little bit of confidence, and we start playing football. So I think he'll get a rating by the end of the season. Romain Esse, same thing. Scored with his first touch, so that's a plus. But a bit more game time, can't really get a rating at the moment.
He looked sharp in the midweek game as well.
Mm-hmm.
It did look sharp. So
Eze, I went into a bit of a deep dive on Eze in Tactical, so I have my thoughts on him when you take everything into context. So, Rich, what do you think about Eze?
this is where it gets a bit tricky, because my judging ebbs based on what I know he can do, or just basing him solely from just his output. Because if it's based on what I know he can do, then he would be an average, because he's so much better than what he's delivered. However, I'm going to keep it strictly to this season. He started off the season late, listening to like Wharton and stuff with all the England stuff. The squad got changed. He then got injured, and everything just took a bit of time. And he even openly said, like, his fitness hasn't been great, which is now really which has improved. He needs to improve his output, because I think he's had so many chances. But lately, I've seen that he's creating more chances, or creating more shot-taking chances, which has been beneficial to us. So he's going to go into the good category. I just need to figure out where in the good category.
Okay, so what I would do is, I think you have to. I think you have with Eze, you have to put into account how we're saying the whole season. I think it's very, very, very important to add the fact that this is all competitions, not just Premier League. Because if you say all competitions, I'm sure it's I think it's 5 goals, 9 assists. But if you look at just the Premier League, it's 2 goals, 6 assists. Because it's the whole season, yes, he is some player that can score goals for fun. He's amazing at dribbling at people. But I think that if we have to base him off of this season, to say that his role as a footballer has changed completely because of the lacking of Adam Wharton, the lacking of Michael Elise this season, he has literally had to flip his whole game 180. Last year, his job was to pick up the ball and run at people. This season,
Mm.
for the majority, his role is to go deep, pick up the ball, and pass to other people to then make goal scoring opportunities. So his game has completely changed. But even with that, he's still in the 98th top percentile in Europe for all other players in his position for shots and 82 for shots on target. So he's still shooting and making chances for himself, but he's passing so much more than he used to last season. So I think I would put him in the good category. I'm not denying with that, but I would put him, I think, here in the good category because he can be so much better. But because of the different role he's had to play, he's sort of been taken out of the spotlight to let other people shine, like Sarr, like Mateta. I'm not saying he's had a bad season, but I think that he's had a good season, taking everything into account.
I agree.
Would you leave him there in good, or would you move him up higher?
No, that's about fair. That's fair.
Ismail Sarr.
I'm actually going to say great.
30, all I'll say is 34 appearances total for us, 8 goals.
Yeah. Because we signed him, and I'm sure we were thinking, oh, he's just going to be cover. He's had to start pretty much every game he's played. And what he offers us is incredible. Granted, I know when we play against a low block, he finds it tough. But when we're playing on the break, how good is this guy? He has been brilliant for us this season. And listen, I think Romain Nessa even said it. I've got to learn from him. I've got to knock him off his place because he's just got to start. He's been so good for us. So, yeah, he's had a great season.
Is it greater than Mark, or is he good where he is?
That's a tough question. Because Mark's just been Mark and he's been so steady.
Max thinks better than Mark.
Yeah. Let's put him ahead of Mark.
I think I would agree with that because Mark has had such high standards, and this is probably one of his weaker seasons so far.
Mm.
And also, we weren't expecting Sarr to be this good.
Yeah.
Eddie Nketiah. This is a tough one, I think, because there's an argument for not enough game time because he hasn't actually had that much game time in his preferred position. But when he has played in his preferred position, he scored two goals in 2 games. If you want to put it that way, Aston Villa and Millwall. But he did look a little bit shaky in the last game in the Premier League. And with that
I'll let you go first. I've got my decision on that, by the way.
And with that game, there was a glaring opportunity that Adam Wharton gave him a great pass to. And he had a one-on-one attempt with the goalkeeper and he hit it straight at the keeper. And everyone in the whole stadium was looking at each other saying, I think Mateta scores that. I think Mateta has a little bit more composure to lift it over the keeper there. But Nketiah didn't. And Nketiah has done that in this game. He did it against Brighton twice away. I don't know if you remember that. One time where he was straight in the middle and he tried to chip the goalkeeper. He chipped it, but he still hit it wide. He's had other opportunities that he just hasn't taken. I'm sure there was one at Nottingham Forest away as well, where he just sort of had enough and started having really long range shots and wasting opportunities. I don't think he's been poor because he hasn't played as much as he probably needs to. And as a £30 million striker, that does weigh a little bit on my mind as well. Obviously, it's not like he it's not his fault. He's worth we bought him for that much. It's our fault we bought him for that much, really. But you can't put a price tag on his head for how he's been performing. Yeah, Nicky as well, the West Ham one as well. His shot decisions as a
That was my
striker,
argument for poor.
his
This is what
his shooting decisions as a striker isn't great. I do think he's had a worse season than Daichi Kamada. It is harsh. Is he the only player that goes in poor this whole season?
I think so. Granted, you're right. He's only had three or four starts up top for us. But even when he has played wide, he's got goal scoring opportunities.
Yeah,
You know,
I think
and
if
he hasn't
this
taken them.
stat is correct, that will definitely solidify me putting him there.
Yeah, I have no issues putting him in poor,
Yeah, so
but he could also be at the bottom of average as well.
let me change your mind real quick. So as a striker that is worth £30 million, he has played 26 games and he scored 3 goals in all comps. 4 goals in all comps.
Again,
26
it's a
games, 4 goals.
So QPR, Arsenal.
Oh no. 3 goals, because this one's when he played for Arsenal. He hasn't actually played a game in the FA Cup for us.
So when did he get?
No, this is wrong
Oh,
then.
he's got 4.
No.
He's got 4. QPR, Arsenal header, Millwall header, and Villa.
Yeah, 4 goals. Yeah, Max is right here. Not awful, but poor.
Yeah.
Yeah, TCD, only 1 Prem goal. 30 minutes signing's not good enough.
Yeah. And that Casey said we're not laying price tag on him. That's not his fault. Well, I'm sorry. When I think of the West Ham, the Brighton one,
Ipswich.
These are all one-on-ones. He's not taking any of them. Just saying. I think there was one against Arsenal as well. It was very late on, and I think he had a poor touch from Schlupp's pass in the cup.
I don't remember it, but it wouldn't surprise me.
And he wasn't able to get a shot off.
Probably a little bit better note. Jean-Philippe Mateta.
Player of the season. He's definitely up there.
Better than Henderson?
Yeah.
Better than Hughes?
For me, no. Not yet. But remember, Hughes, for me, at this instance, is my player of the season. Obviously, Lacroix's yours. If JP gets to, what's he on at the moment? Premier goals.
Let me check for you. Prem goals. Jean-Philippe Mateta in the Premier League has got 12 goals, 2 assists.
If that's to 15, I'll change my player of the season. I'm saying it right now. Gets to 15, I'll change my player of the season. I just think Will Hughes has been too important for us.
So, according to the stats, Mateta's only missed 3 chances this season. His conversion rate is unreal. Or 3 big chances, let's say. But one of those chances does include the Wolves one, which should have stood. I don't even know why it's counted, actually. Because the ref blew the whistle before he even kicked the ball.
You know what? I'm going to change my mind. I'm putting my striker head on now. As a centre forward, your job is to score goals, and he's doing it. I feel so bad in doing this to Will Hughes because I think he's been brilliant. Yeah, put JP top.
Above Max?
Yeah, put him top. Put him top. And I actually think he'll get to. I think he'll get. I think he'll get 18. I think he'll get 18 minimum.
Get 6 more goals in 8 games.
8 or 10.
We are 28 games in, so it's 10 left.
Yeah, so 10. Yeah, I think he'll get 18 at least.
Finally, not a player, but the manager, Oliver Glasner.
Obviously, he can't be player of the season, but he has to get as much accolades as possible.
He can't be player of the season because he's not a player.
He's not a player.
But I think he goes top of great.
Yeah. He has worked wonders for us. I tell you what.
That if you look at what happened with this season, we sort of suffered from our own success a little bit last year or this year. We had 6 players get into their domestic finals for England. 5 actually, or technically 6. Technically 8 players if you count Michael Elise getting into their domestic finals. You had Mateta and Elise getting into the Olympic final. You had Lerma and Munoz getting into the final. You had Wharton, Henderson, Eze, and Mark all getting into the final. We had 8 players got into their finals of their competitions. And then to put on top of that, we bought 4 players on deadline day as well. And bearing in mind, that's 2 games into the season before the actual window closed. So we had basically 12 players without any preseason whatsoever. Oliver Glasner had to scrounge around for players out of position, for Schlupp in midfield, for Schlupp up front, for Schlupp here, there, and everywhere, just to get us through the first few games. And that's why we did lose pretty much all of those games in the first 8. And if you look at it now, if you look at where we are in the table, let me just... if you look at where we are now in the table, we are 12th, where we should be. That might I add, where we always are. But
we are home.
We are home. We are back. Perfect balance. But if you look at where we were at the start of this season, we were rock bottom, 0 points, 1 point, 2 points, just getting a few draws in 8 games. And
we were as low as 19th, weren't we?
Yeah, the bookies were even sitting there saying Palace are going to get relegated. We're going to drop the odds because they're going to go down. That's how bad it was. And then to look at where we are now, 39 points. We've given everyone an 8-game head start in this season, and we're still cooking. We're still flying above people. I think the stat that I think I read out in a stream a few days ago in the Ipswich reaction, when we played them, we were 1 point behind them. Now we are 22 ahead of them. How incredible is that? And as a manager to fight through all of that and even again get nonsense during January as well, only getting in 1 player that, 2 players and both of them on deadline day again.
Yeah.
Now we're looking at giving him a new contract. But when he's going for that contract, he says, I need budget assurances. And I don't blame him one bit. I really don't. He is an absolute genius when it comes to a manager. Seems like a great guy as well. Seems to get everyone on side. To me, it looks like how he manages and how he speaks to the players. It looks like the players would genuinely run for a brick wall for him. And that's all you need from a manager. Someone to be tactically aware and someone that can rally their troops. And he has got both of those. And, obviously, we're going to be biased to say, manager of the season, one of the best managers in the Premier League. But how many managers have you seen tactically dismantle Arne Slot this season, Unai Emery this season? Not many. And he's done it this season alone with this Palace team, where he hasn't really had that much money to delve into the transfer market and make it his team. This is still technically not really his team. Just imagine what we could do if he gets a bit more control, a bit more investment.
One thing I love about this manager is his ability to adapt mid-game as well. Is sensational. He will spot something's wrong, and he will change it. And it doesn't have to be no change of player. It's just a player adjustment. Look at the Chelsea game. We were struggling all first half. He just said, Ismaila, drop off 5-10 yards and pick up the ball. And all of a sudden, the game changed. It's those subtle differences that he can identify. Just makes him a top coach. I'm so glad it's been reported we want to give him a new deal, but we must give him whatever he wants. We've got to keep him for at least another 2 years, because I think if it gets to 4 years and he hasn't been able to get us into Europe, he's tried, and then he can part ways all he wants. He's been there a season and a half, I'd say, and he's already worked wonders. Teams hate playing against us; they really do, especially when we're counterattacking. And I just hope he stays, man. And
also,
I'll be like, go away.
When was the last time in the Premier League have we ever seen a table saying we've got more wins than losses in a season? We've got 10 wins, 9 draws, 9 losses. How crazy is that?
100%. 100%. And Nicky's made the point, the fact that he'll go on the pitch and he'll talk to players on the pitch at full time, and he's still coaching. When the game's done, he's just so good.
So, guys, that is the full Crystal Palace tier list. If you want to make a point, make an argument to move anyone around, please put it in the comments. Rich, do you want to fly through some comments? Because we haven't actually done any comments this whole stream.
Right. We did a few. I think we got up to Nicky's missus. Let's see where that is. Oh, there it is. We would like to say that Nicky has publicly said in the GC that he has no idea who this is.
But he is single. So if this person is not someone's burner, which I think it may be, then please hit him up on @Saint of Selhurst on Twitter.
I'm wondering if actually, did he even say hello back? Hold on.
He's airing her.
He
just
didn't.
said nonsense.
Well, maybe, you know what? He was probably starstruck.
He's probably zooming in on the profile picture.
100% no. And we are saying Adam being good. The dog saying if Richard is good, Walton is good. He started 10 games. I'm not having this. I think that's related to Walton. Injuries played who part decided where Walton goes, but I'd say he's been good. I fully think Walton definitely goes in great. Hughes is great, says Henry. I think, they were saying that he's player of the season. So he's been better than Henderson. Hughes has to be in consideration. It's a strong viewpoint. Take Hendo out. I think this is when you said there should only be 3. That's it. I'm guessing Sora's banned. Yes, she's kind of disappeared. Maybe because Nicky had her. She's completely disappeared. Or did he time her out?
He might have logged in just to time her out.
No idea. Which player was that? Sorry, Damo. So I know this was probably a long time ago regarding goals. I don't know if that's whether that's Hughes or Warren. Which neither of them scored. Hughes played the season. Lacroix played the season. 4 should be the limit. Lamb just about good. Justin good. I don't think he had enough games to judge. I think this was do with Devaney. Devaney definitely good. When utilised as a start, he's shown maturity, high ceiling, but still fair amount to learn. Doug said that Devaney found it hard against Everton. I like this because it's a mixed bag of opinions, you know, and it's respectful. So thank you, chat. Nicky saying that Kamada average. Doug said no, he has to be poor to what we expected regarding Kamada. TCD said he had a poor start, but his performance improved. Where is that? David Rumble. Hold on, let me hide this. Hide. There we go. There we go. He's improving. I'll be interested to see this revisit at the end of the season. Yeah, should we come back to this at the end of the season? We'll do another one.
Yeah, so what I have done is I have made this public. So what I would do is, let me stop sharing this now. Save and download image. So what I've done is I have downloaded this. So I will be going and putting this up onto the Twitter or the X. The Twitter. The X just sounds wrong actually. But yeah, we'll be putting this on Twitter. So you guys can go in here and make your own tier list, really. So tweet it at us.
Absolutely.
Whatever you think. Let's see what we can make.
100%. Doesn't look like there's any additional changes in the chat. So I guess we'll wrap it up there. Guess we'll wrap it up there now. Oh, you're the host, so you can see what's coming up.
So yes, we have a few things coming up. I think the next one is Premier League draft. That will be happening on Monday next week. So what we'll be doing is hopefully as many of us as possible will be coming on. How are we doing this exactly? We're going to make our own teams, or are we going to pick them one by one and go through the whole squad?
Yeah. So what we'll do is, depending on how many there are. So let's just say if there's 3, let's just say we'll do whether it's flick a coin or whatever to see who goes first, second, third. But it'll go whoever goes first, then second, then third. The person who's last picks 2, and then it goes back. And then it goes back to whoever's first, then picks 2. So it kind of evens it out. So that the person who's first doesn't always get the best picks. We're not including any of the traditional big 6. So we can't pick Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal. That's it.
Yeah, I think we need to run through the rules again, so I fully understand it, because I don't know about draft. I've never watched NFL,
so basically,
NBA, never done it.
So like I said, we'll take turns. So if obviously we're not, minus the traditional big 6, let's just say you pick Mateta, for example. That's your striker. I can't pick Mateta now. So we're all going to be taking turns, and we have to see who makes the best 11, knowing that some of the good players.
Do you have to build it like from goalkeeper, left back, or can I just like you say go and I go Morgan Rogers and then that's it, bang, done?
No, any player you want, whatever.
Okay. Do we have
to start with your striker?
So do we have to bait out our formation that we're going straight away? Or
I think behind the scenes, let's agree on the formation that we all have to pick.
Okay. All right, I get it.
And that will make it. Because obviously, if someone says 4-4-2 and then ends up picking 2 of the better options, it's kind of killed everything that's happened. So we should I think we should do 3-4-1-2-1 because that's our Palace formation.
I think we should pick whatever you want. But you have to bait it out first.
Whatever formation.
I think so.
Well, we got until Monday. We'll finalize it all. Um, yeah, that will be
That'll be fun.
fun, interesting to do. Wednesday's the roast, isn't it?
So that's on a Monday. The Wednesday is Nikki and Dan's roast. So that'll be celebrating 2,500 subscribers. So once again, thank you everyone. And finally, on the Friday, I believe the 21st is. Let me double check. Yeah, Friday
Yeah.
21st. We will be going through. I think what we'll do is we'll go through the picked England squad because I think everyone's got something to say about it. No one's happy with it. Let's be real.
Nope.
And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put. It's gonna be like today's stream, really. I'm gonna have loads of England players, loads of people that could qualify for England in this current squad, and I'm gonna put them all down there, and we are going to make our own 23-man squad. So I'm gonna make the starting 11 as the first line, the rest of the squad as the second line, and I'm gonna have a potential. Like another thing for potentially, so like if someone gets injured, you just swap them out, and then like a no chance as the bottom one, saying they no way they're getting in to the squad. And then after that, back to regularly scheduled programming.
Next Sunday's Dan's quiz. I call him Daniel. My gosh.
Ugh.
Next Sunday's Dan's quiz.
Ugh.
I call him Daniel. Oh my days.
That is. Ugh. I'm gonna tell him you said that.
He's doing the quiz. It's going to be on Kahoot, so everyone can get involved, I believe.
Yeah. So if you want to
Just
watch
literally.
the stream and do the quiz, it would be preferable if you had two devices.
Yeah.
So if you watched it on your tablet, you want to do the quiz on your phone. If you're watching the quiz on your phone, then do the quiz on your tablet. But yeah, other than that, that is everything. No one wants to change their opinions on our tier list. So thank you everyone for watching, and I'll put the tweet out now. And big up everyone. Thanks for watching, and as always, up the palace. Eagles.